Hey! What's going on, everybody? It's myself, Samson Folk, joined by Tre as he pulls up. It's the Pull Up Tre
Nice.
podcast.
Oh, that was good.
We're joined by our producer, new in
Oh,
title, Esfandiar
yes,
Berhane,
sir.
for our yearly awards draft. It means that we'll be selecting the awards we think are most likely for the Toronto Raptors, even the J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award. You can pick whatever you want, but I thought that was funny. Did you guys also know there's a Social Justice Champion Award, and Karl Anthony Towns won it? I have a nominee in mind. I don't think they'll win, but maybe we get there. Regardless, we're here to talk basketball. We'll start with you, S. You're the producer. You're the big cheese. This show goes around your ideas now. How you feeling? How's it going?
First of all, this show is self-sufficient. So you guys, do your own things. I don't do much. I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
I'm really just hanging out. I'm like Guillermo, Tre makes the joke where
that
he's
is mine,
Guillermo.
That is mine.
No, I'm now Guillermo. Step aside, Guillermo number 1. I'm Guillermo number 2. I'm just here to facilitate the rock a little bit. A little Davion Mitchell, a little.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tre, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad we have a producer, someone to like really lead the charge and give us the direction that we've always needed.
That's right.
So I'm just blessed to have that on board.
He's a powerful presence as well too. Like we've already made wholesale changes. So hopefully the viewers appreciate and the listeners appreciate. So here's the thing.
I do like the new pull up thing you said though. That's cool. Did you do that last time?
The intro?
Yeah.
I'm just yelling.
That was sick.
Yeah, you came in like more yelling. That's really the attention
More
span.
yelling, god damn it.
Yeah, the attention spans, they're kind of going. So you want to raise the volume to keep everybody engaged. So here's the thing. We'll stay engaged with everybody. I think I just watched the best preseason game I've seen in a really long time. From the Toronto Raptors POV. The arena wasn't a sellout last night, but it was electric. DJ Carton hits game-winning free throws in a hellacious finish. Brandon Carlson, it appears to get the game-winning block. Scottie puts up 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. Gradey scores 27 and looks unbelievable doing it, kind of in the vein of what Tre and I have been saying we'd like him to do. And then Darko came out and really he validated that point of view. So I was sitting there like, nice. S and I will have dueling banjo Gradey features coming up in the next week. We're going to go bar for bar and see whose is better. We'll start with you, S, because you did the recap. So we're going to lean on this a little bit. What did you think of the game? What have you thought of the preseason?
It was pretty crazy that both teams played their starters in the fourth quarter, because I have not seen that in a preseason game so far. And that was just
well, how many have you watched? Do you have your list?
Sadly, a lot, actually. I don't have a list this year. I don't have a little tally. No tally or list.
Making a list, checking it twice.
Yeah. But, dude, that was rare for preseason games, especially this year. Like, there's been a lot of complaints about just starters not playing in general. So to see guys play like 30 minutes, 32 minutes, 33 minutes, see Scottie plus bench, see the Scottie and Gradey lineups, see like guys sort of have to figure it out throughout a game, deal with certain runs. That part was fun to me. It felt like we were back in regular season basketball. And like you said, the hoops was great too. We got a lot of fun stuff between Scottie and Gradey. It's just, I think ultimately, like, how much of this do we take into the regular season? And like, obviously they're not going to shoot 40-50% from 3 in the first quarter again and score 46 points.
You can shoot 40 or 50% in the first quarter. Is that so crazy?
No, the 46 points. I don't know, man.
Well, the percentage.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. But I mean, look. Other than that, there's a lot to take away, as I'm sure we'll talk about when it comes to Gradey and the way that he was getting to his buckets and getting to his shots. Same thing with Scottie, honestly, but that's sort of more expected than what Gradey did in his game against the Celtics. And so
not to the trained eye, brother. I know you've been looking at this, Tre. We're going to swing it to you. The pants on or off scale, where are we?
My pants are nowhere near the room. I think it's probably the most, like, sadly, it's probably the most competitive game the Raptors have had since like late February.
Let's
Considering
tuck
everything.
the sadly away. Let's keep it positive.
But you saw everything that you wanted to see, especially the game prior. They didn't give a really good effort. Gradey is finally hitting all of the stuff that you're seeing that he's doing within actions all of the time, where he's coming off of a stagger. He has both the awareness to make that extra pass or go in and step up 2 dribble pulls, working within the actual offense. And you saw in ways where sometimes the team kind of struggles for like second side creation, especially RJ's not playing, Quickly's not playing. He was able to provide that extra source of creation. And that with a guy who has his level of shooting, if he's able to provide that as well, it exponentially increases his ceiling and where you want him to actually go. So I think it was great to see like the ceiling of what this team could be, and like especially against a team like that, yeah, it's something that you're gonna go into the season like hopefully we see more of.
39 shots across 2 games. Gradey Dick. For 40s, the high 40s in points. Whatever, 27, 45 points. 27 plus 18, it's a math podcast, as we've always known, because we're little nerds. So, I think, and not to be too much of like, the game is the game, it's about a bucket type of guy, but I love when guys get shots up, especially if it's one of my guys and I believe the process is good. I think the process for Gradey has been so strong, at least on offense, for so long that you hated seeing that it was just a quarter here, a quarter there, where he kind of like let it fly. But the blicky is out like a West Side Gun. Like he is letting it bang, man.
Yeah.
It's been one of my favorite things to watch of this preseason. I notice.
Wait, Trey, can you do your West Side Gun again? That was hilarious. You said, "Bow!"
Wow.
And so watching a guy go like that shoot is really great. And also, we've talked about this before, how Masai and sometimes they speak to their audience knowingly. And Gradey is shooting to the audience. You know what I mean? Like he saw people were saying, I get it. The process is good. When are we going to see it? And then he hit 8 threes over 2 games, poured in 45 points, was just like, let me get the shots up. Let me affect change. Let me show people that, volume is a thing I can bring. Let me show people that I can go get buckets. Let me put together 27 points so everybody and their mom and their dad can clip together all of my makes off of NBA Advanced Stats and tweet it out for 145 likes on Twitter. Like, I need to be able to supply the people. Has anything changed for you as far as the Gradey evaluation? Does this open your eyes to anything, or are you kind of knowingly nodding your head from out in the crowd?
More so knowingly nodding my head, but it does make me excited about his potential with the starters, because I think his shooting gravity opens up so much space for Scottie, and not just off ball, like spacing to the corner or like drifting up once they drive and whatnot, but like involving him in actions directly with Scottie to open up space, driving lanes for him to attack. There was this play in the game, I think it was in the third quarter, where like Gradey kind of just moved off in a Spain pick and roll type of situation, and it opened up a lane for Scottie to attack, and he dumped it off to Jakob for the finish. And it's like these type of little things that a shooter can supply in terms of gravity. It's very Klay Thompson-esque, like, because Klay's gravity was unreal. And I'm not making the damn comparison. I'm not. I saw your face
because I
saw
smile.
your face.
I always smile.
I saw your face.
No, but I'd be fine with Klay, but you really got to swing for the fences. You got to say Booker. You know what I mean?
Okay. Man, I was ready to do
go ahead.
I was gonna do like a Gradey Stojakovic joke or something like that. You know what I mean?
Let's expand a little bit. Like, we can cross that racial boundary. You know what I mean?
Hey, okay.
George Gervin.
Right, with the
Okay, so we're still recording. Let me say, I made the cross-racial comparison, and they cut the lights out. Do not make cross-racial comparisons. Anyway, wax poetic about our boy Gradey.
I think in terms of what we saw from Gradey, a lot of where his potential is going to come from is obviously whether he shoots the ball well or not. I think that is actually going to come. But the movement that he creates off the ball is really what the Raptors are trying to harness around Scottie and other players. That's kind of the reason why they drafted Jacoby Walter. You saw the synergy between him and Scottie where they operate inverted pick and rolls together, making plays and creating actual space for both him and Gradey within itself. If he's able to like one finish in the lane like he's able to, he's really shown that like with added strength, like the finish off the window over Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum isn't the tiniest player.
That hook shot attempt was crazy. That was nuts.
I think my favorite finish was the dead leg left-handed flick, that he made. And also when you keep in mind that his first bucket, I think, of the preseason was coming off of a curl, putting the ball down and a high lefty finish kissed off the glass against Washington. And we've known this. We all watched the Kansas tape. Gradey's the ability to use English and touch it soft off the glass has been part of his repertoire for a very long time. He just needs to be, as you said, strong enough to get himself to those places on the floor to convert on that kind of stuff. But yeah, go ahead, Trey.
But yeah, with his added movement and the finishing that's gotten better, it appears so early on in the season. I think it's viable for him to play with the actual starters, because you're going to have guys like both Scottie and RJ that are going to be able to get to the rim, create advantages is that way. His ability to extend the actual advantage once he's gotten the ball is going to wreak havoc, and it's going to, one, open up his passing, and two, he's going to have a lot of opportunities. I think there's a real window for him to average double-digit points pretty efficiently.
Yeah, I think the roadmap is there, as you say. The Raptors, again, not a cheap team, shouldn't be a bad team. This team should score the ball. They have professional scorers. They have an incumbent all-star on the team. They have a good guard who just got paid, who wants to improve like crazy. And Gradey gets to be in the mix with all of that. And Gradey, some of these plays, yes, he's the intended target for these plays. He's the guy they want to get the ball to, but it doesn't require much. They run him off a screen and suddenly things are happening. The catch and shoot opportunities, as we know, a lot of his hottest shooting last season was related to the corner, but a lot of his makes in preseason are not only above the break, but extended above the break, so that those closeouts have to come out even farther. That kind of stuff will create better opportunities for him down the road and will simplify and create better looks for his teammates immediately. This kind of stuff is fantastic. Any final thoughts on Gradey? I guess before we update on just the Raptor stuff, talk a little bit about Scottie and then predict some awards.
There we go. That escalation.
That's a professional.
Escalation.
There you go. No, I don't think what you guys said about Gradey is 100% true. I don't think there's anything left to say other than I'm gone and I'm doing an ISO right now, and I'm going to let you guys know. Oh, actually, this is one thing I wanted to mention. So Darko today in the presser said that Gradey is this sort of untapped potential passer, which I think is true. And I think is a valid point. And he's made some really, really nice reads over his last year and a half. When he starts to command more attention, when he's able to draw to on these off-ball screens and whatnot, it'll just open up the passing opportunities for him more often, activate that side of the ball for him, which I think is really exciting if you're a Raptors fan because of how that can connect to the rest of the starting group. Think about, a lot of teams, they'll space their non-shooting big man to the corner. Think about having Jakob spaced on that side and then a pin down for Gradey and, two to the ball for Gradey and he just dumps it off to Jakob and he has an easy lane. There's these type of things that could happen that I think Gradey can tap into if he really gets that type of I don't even know what I'm saying. If Gradey is able to command that type of attention, there you go. Yeah. My words, they're working.
We have one of their baseline out of bounds plays from last night is a good example of this. if it's Jakob, nobody's going to allow that check down pass that Gradey was able to make at Kansas, which is the reason why we can all be so optimistic about him making the pass you referenced, S. But what they did was they had a get action out of the baseline out of bounds, off the baseline for Gradey to come up court, come off of it, and they brought pressure to the ball, but they rotated to Jakob on the back end. That rotation means Gradey can make the pass, swing it to the other side. Scottie can jut in for great post position, and that was his second last bucket before he made that pull-up three. But the lead was 5 at that point in time, and that stretch of play extended it to 10. This is not the Celtics don't give a shit. This is the Celtics are trying to win the game. They're trying to like batten down the hatches, and the Raptors run a good play. Gradey is the guy they want to run through on that play, and he changes the defense, makes the right read, the ball goes where it needs to, and their star scores. That is like that's perfection. Other updates, I guess. Jamal is good per Darko. That's the report. Jacoby is not close, it doesn't seem, because Darko was asked about Jacoby and there was no indication about the being close to coming back and playing. He said he's injured and he's currently working on footwork. That makes sense to me, the lower half stuff. And RJ, really no mention either. When they said they'd evaluate at the end of preseason, turns out that was something that was true. Tre, we'll start with you. Scottie Barnes, the franchise, man. He turned it around. Let's hear it.
He sure looked like it. Obviously, no one's concerned about Scottie Barnes. Regardless of
people were.
I would assume an All-Star would give you both some, benefit of the doubt.
Well, not everybody's as cool as you.
Oh wow, touching. But I think with Scottie, the a lot of the stuff that comes with him, he falls into points. Like he's able to fight along the glass, run in transition. He even as a rookie, he was able to walk to 15 points doing that stuff. What's going to take him to the next level is is he going to be able to get downhill so that he really can weaponize his passing? And B, when he can't get downhill, is he able to score off the dribble to really warrant the attention of the defense? And yesterday he did exactly that. I think the plays that were probably the most promising were a lot of the dribble mid-range stuff. I think with Scottie, who probably isn't the quickest player, like going north-south, if he's able to actually rise up, be balanced, score off of the dribble from their defenses, are going to have to step up a lot closer. They aren't able to load up, and when they don't, and when they go up a lot tighter, you saw although he didn't finish over Tillman, he blows right by them. Just when he gets ahead of his team, he's really hard to actually stop. And then also he was throwing a few post touches and performed really well. Was very fluid. You saw the post move over Pritchard where he bounced, drop step, immediately got into the lane, utilized his strength. He's going to be able to score on smaller players like that every single time. So I think it's just weaponizing those matchups. And if the shooting bodes well, I think his mid-range scoring around the rim or even the short rim area is probably more important to his actual stardom than whether he hits 3-pointers or not, personally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for him to hit, I think he hit around 2 or 3 of those. Super important, huge for the Raptors, and it opens up a lot for him. And still the franchise, and clearly still good.
So for anybody who's wondering about some numbers that do kind of belay how Barnes operates in the middle of the floor, he went from, as far as year 2 to year 3, he went from 18th percentile as a scorer in the pick and roll to 47th percentile as a scorer in the pick and roll. He was basically the same level of scorer in the pick and roll as, I didn't even do that. That was interesting. He was basically the exact same level of scorer in the pick and roll as Immanuel Quickley was last year. Only Scottie is one of the best pick and roll passers in the whole NBA, which brought him to not the elite echelon, but 80th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler when you account for the passes as well. That's incredibly good. The Raptors from year 2 to year 3 shot 9% better on Scottie's pick and roll possessions as a team than they did the year before. It was 1.046 points per possession, 1.064 dyslexia points per possession. That's great, man. And pretty high volume. This kind of stuff was going incredibly well. I know you've been paying a lot more attention, I think, than I have to kind of the mid-range stuff, how that might affect what's going on for him going forward. What Tre touched on. What are your thoughts there?
Counters, baby. I think like the more teams adapt to his pick and roll game, they're just going to go under more often and either live with a switch or just go under and dare him to shoot. And so that happened early on in this game, and that the 3-point shooting obviously propelled him to a different game. But to Tre's point, I think some of the mid-range stuff will unlock some of the counters that he has because he's so strong. He had that move where he bumped Jaylen Brown off the spot and settled into the mid-range jumper. The little mid-post pick and roll that he had with Jakob on one side that had him kind of rise up. I believe it was over Horford in a mid-range shot. And so, like, these are the things that if they aren't letting you get to the rim, if you're not able to barrel your way there, you can settle into a mid-range jumper. And it just makes your game that much more dynamic, right? Even Darko today said, like, we need him to eventually become a 3-level scorer. If you want to be an all NBA, perennial all-star type of player, you need to be a 3-level scorer. I think getting the first 2 levels down is essential to what Scottie is as a player. And that 3rd level, the 3-point shooting, it might come and go. It might be streaky in some stretches of the season, but if it can stay at a consistent rate of like 35 to 37%, you're looking at a player that's really, really hard to guard. And as he gets stronger, as he learns how to deal with different coverages more often, I think it's just going to become impossible to stop a player like that. And so if he's constantly commanding attention and commanding double teams, then it just churns your offense in such an incredible way. And it's like that type of player is able to command a top 10 offense in the league if he has the right pieces around him. Now we'll see if they can do that this season. I don't think that's a crazy take, to be honest with you. I think they have the potential of being like at their best, a top 10-ish offense. Maybe the defense, I don't think so at all. Like I think that's going to be a struggle this year. But I think offensively they're set up. At least the starters are set up to be really, really good.
Yeah, and an interesting thing, you talked about the going under. The change in the amount of drop he was seeing from year 2 to year 3 with the better 3-point shooting, especially to start the year. Not only did he radically change the percentage of drop he was seeing, which was almost 40% drop coverage in the pick and roll last season. It was just shy of 27 or 28% the year prior. He also saw a huge influx of long closeouts. And so short closeouts are where players are stopping short. They're not that worried, like hands are up. They're worried about contain of the drive. But Scottie started to see that even though it was at 35%, even though the pull-up numbers are not good last year as far as the 3-point land, that he's able to affect change in the defense. And so even though he might not be by the numbers a 3-level scorer yet, I think the brash way he plays basketball lends himself to reputation amongst the league a little bit earlier. And that's why teams are more comfortable playing drop on him, is because when they go under, it allows him kind of to keep walking up the floor as a playmaker and getting closer to proximity to the rim. Teams, as far as I can tell in the pick and roll, haven't really found out the best way to guard Scottie yet. And they had it the year prior, and now he's kind of flipped it back on them. We'll see how it goes this year. If anybody is interested in delving into this topic further, I wrote a piece, Weaponizing the Pass, How Scottie Barnes Creates in the Pick and Roll. I looked at every single pick and roll he ran last year, did my deep dive on it. And if you're more of a little video essay babe, it'll be here this week or something like that.
For the fellow basketball minds out there, if you'd like to subscribe to the Raptors Report.
I've never, ever tweeted that phrase. I will not allow it. But yeah, lots of interesting stuff about Scottie. Are we ready to talk about
what I'm
awards,
here for, man.
to do some drafts? Okay. Yeah. Can we play rock, paper, scissors on screen? Does that work?
Yeah.
S?
Yeah.
Okay, put your fist up. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Rock, paper, scissors. Oh, do you guys do rock, paper, scissors shoot or rock, paper, scissors?
I'm doing rock, paper, scissors. Yeah.
Okay.
And on scissors,
well, then,
you should.
okay. I did fist.
Also,
so you
Trey,
lost.
I can't see your hand,
Oh,
Trey.
my hands
This
are
is
closed.
great for an audio medium. Okay, so wait. Okay, so we didn't see Trey's, but S, you lost to my rock.
I lost, yes. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so Trey, fist in the middle of the screen. Keep in mind. Yep, the middle of the screen.
So
what is going on?
You
Okay, there you go.
If
yes,
you see
yes.
your fist,
You have to see it. Okay, ready? Rock, paper, scissors. What'd you do?
What is that?
Scissors,
What is
scissors.
that?
What's the scissors?
Oh my god. Okay, you know what, Trey? You go
That
first.
looks like the
I can't deal
Jamaican
with you. I can't deal with you with this anymore. Okay, Trey, you get first award choice. What is it gonna be? So we were actually, whoever lost is actually the one who wins at rock paper scissors. It turns out. So S, you get first choice of the Raptors award. So what are you choosing first?
Okay, so I've really thought about this today. You know, I've been on public transit a lot, so I've had a chance to think. All right, my pick is Scottie Barnes All-Star. I think it's one of the safer picks in the Raptors sphere of things. Becoming a 2-time All-Star isn't a wild pick. Yeah, look, admittedly, the Raptors will have to win some games in order for that to happen. But I do think there's a chance that All-Star is in the books for Scottie this year. I think it's the most likely award of any Raptor in any situation. Maybe you guys have a different opinion, but I don't. So I think it's the most likely.
What is the lowest seed an All-Star has ever been? I don't think that'll be the case this year, but do we know what that is?
Sure.
I want to say so last year Tre was an All-Star.
Ooh.
And
what seed were they?
The Hawks were like the 10 seed at that point. So is that what was Scottie?
When 11th?
Yeah, the Raptors were 11th around that time.
So I
that
guess
has to be close. 11th or 12th. I feel like I'm gonna maybe somebody will look this up afterwards. I feel like 12th is the lowest that an All-Star's ever been. You know what I mean?
Probably something like that. I don't know, man. That's a good question.
Because they used to only pick winning players. Like picking like awesome players on bad teams is kind of a new thing.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
I feel like 11th is probably that might be the bottom on it. But the Raptors are going to be 11th.
Yeah, I can see that.
They'll be somewhere in that.
Yeah. I'd be if they're 12th. I'm like, damn, that's pretty crazy.
How could we be 13th? Is what I would ask. if we're 12. But yeah, give me Scottie All-Star. Yeah.
That one's pretty easy. I think that one makes a lot of sense. Is there any pushback, Trey? Do you think? I think he probably repeats. I think he's improving. I think he'll be in there.
Yeah.
No, I think he probably makes it. I think his numbers bode well to making the All-Star game. Like it's easier to justify.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to average a triple-double, but I could see 20, 21, 9, and 7, for example. And that's going to get you into an All-Star game.
They're good numbers. And he's good defensively, so you can't even do how does he impact winning? It's like Scottie is a guy who you can't really get around. It's tough to argue with his numbers. Like you can argue with the team, but that only gets you so far. I think he'll be in it this year. My pick, because All-Star is an award, I'll go one step higher.
Oh, wow.
All-NBA.
Okay.
Why not? There exists an opportunity for Scottie to set the floor and the ceiling of this team. Some players who end up going on to Hall of Fame careers do this year 4, year 3. They take that step and their team is immediately significantly better just because the difference between an All-Star and an All-NBA player is sometimes quite large. Scottie, given the amount of impact he has on defense, given that he is already kind of wrangled one of the most important play types, the pick and roll, given that, the Raptors have invested in a team at least to try and be competitive. Like they paid the guys. Maybe they're not like there's no contending here, but they paid the guys. If they snuck 7th seed, if they snuck 8th, 7th, 6th, whatever, I can't pretend like that's a non-existent scenario. I think that one is a scenario that accounts for a big Scottie Barnes jump, which is in the cards, a meaningful jump from some of the other key players on the team, and it could shake out that way. There's a possibility for it. And his game, if he doesn't break his hand, if he doesn't have to play on like truly destitute rosters, why couldn't his defense be mind-numbingly great over the course of maybe not the full 82, but 74, 75? Why couldn't his ability to score in transition with a team that wants to play even faster boost up those numbers? He's also on an assist farm. There's going to be assists. He's also going to rebound the basketball. He's going to make plays all over the floor. You said 21, 9, and 7. Like, it could conceivably go higher than that too. Everyone here would be happy and excited with 21, 9, and 7, but like, will poll the three of us if it's 22, 9, and 7, 23, 9, and 7. Do you say no, not possible? It's there.
No, it's there. Yeah.
So
wait,
that's my
third team?
Sure. Wait, does this mean Tre just goes second team? One more.
No. I just wanted to see how bold the.
Yeah, let's go third team. Yeah, third team.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Tre, it's on you, brother.
Okay, I'm gonna pick RJ Barrett, most improved player.
Nice. Wow. I like it, man. I like it. Let's do it.
I can see a scenario. I don't think a lot of people saw the necessary like jump he made with his remaining games with the Raptors. They saw him struggle as a Knick, so I think the narrative is already there. And just like with Scottie, I could, if RJ scores 24 points a game this year, I wouldn't be stunned personally. If the 3-point shot holds up to where it needs to be, and he's still finishing at the rate he is, the Raptors run a lot, so he's going to get those opportunities. He's going to get the actual usage. So I wouldn't be stunned if he won most improved player, and in terms of like actual real improvement, I think he's made tremendous ground. So I could see him running off as soon as he's back in the lineup.
It's one more basket a game.
Yeah.
You know, like if RJ Barrett came out, and again, a lot of these awards are intertwined. If Scottie makes All NBA, that means the Raptors are quite good. And as we saw last night, you don't just beat the Celtics with Scottie and Gradey being good. I mean, Jakob had 16 and 15. Ochai scored the most he has in a Raptors uniform. Like Davion had 10 assists, 3 made triples. If you're going to win games, you need guys from all over the roster to give you stuff. And RJ was the Raptors' best scorer last year. He was good in most play types. He scored the hell out of the basketball on uber efficiency. And he only did it on the same amount of touches every game as Kelly Olynyk. If there's room for him to ratchet it up, and as you said, things stay, there's room for a fun prediction here, which also, I'm surprised you didn't pick IQ for that award. So there's another one left on the tally if anybody wants to choose. But S, what are your thoughts on RJ, the most improved player?
I really like it because I think pundits are starting to catch up on RJ having a really solid second half of the year. And so there is a little bit of like a narrative push of, oh, this guy could pop this season. And that helps. I hate that has to be a part of things, but that does help when it comes to talking about the award. And so if RJ does put up similar numbers, similar efficiency, getting to that point, it looks like he could be in consideration for most improved. I will say, though, most improved tends to go to the person who ends up being a first-time All-Star. And so if I agree with Tre saying RJ Barrett most improved, my pick is going to be RJ Barrett All-Star.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that is the pick. I think
sell it a little bit.
Sell it a little bit. My basic idea is like, okay, if we're going off of the premise that RJ is going to be a most improved candidate, and when it comes to the factors that would be required for the Raptors to get 2 All-Stars, because if we're going Scottie and RJ, that requires like top this 6. Team to be pretty good, man. Yeah. Top 6 type team. And so my general idea, my theme with this is if this guy is averaging exactly what he did last year on the exact same type of efficiency, he's well within the most improved award. He's a pretty durable player too. Like he's gonna play those games to be eligible for all those. And so RJ Barrett, All-Star, is my pick. Maybe that's not the best pick here. Maybe that's not the best value pick, but I'm leaning into it. Why not?
It's interesting because I'm thinking about this. I think Indiana is going to be top 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're going to have one All-Star. It's like
Yeah.
Pascal, I don't think is going to make the All-Star team.
Right.
I'd be pretty surprised if he did. Orlando, do they get both Franz and
I don't think so.
Paolo?
I don't
think so. Cleveland is going to have a couple, maybe 3. Milwaukee is going to have a couple, probably. The Knicks are going to have a couple. Boston's going to have a couple, maybe like 3. But there's just room on the roster. Tyrese and Embiid will make it. But there's room on the roster, I think, if the Raptors are at Darling, which if they jump up, and I don't think that's super likely, but if they jump up, points per game is big. I mean, Paolo made it over Franz. Points per game rules. RJ goes points per game before anything else. And also it's good narrative-wise, as you say, that there was skepticism of his statistical ramp up last year. They're like, wow, the team didn't matter. Nobody cared. It was just whatever. He looked good to start preseason before the acromioclavicular injury hit the second Raptor. Oh, geez, the phrasing of that sounded familiar to a famous world event. Geez.
Oh, God.
Anyway. So, basically, I think it makes sense. I have a way better prediction, though.
Oh, God.
Garrett Temple for the J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award. Last year, it went to CJ McCollum for his work in the community of New Orleans, particularly funding underserved communities, dealing with social justice, etc., etc. Well, I'll tell you what the fuck Garrett Temple gets up to. It didn't happen in Montreal, but it happened at Simon Fraser University last year. He donated $10,000 to the Teachers Union of Simon Fraser University. He spoke to them when they were on strike. He wears suits with turtlenecks. He has the look. He has the will. He has the passion. He could do something in Toronto here, especially since he's not spending that much time on the floor. This is a guy who could spend some time with the community. He's a good man, and he's got the plan. J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award to Mr. Garrett Temple. I dare
Can I just
one
say,
of you.
Can I just say that it's crazy that this is your selection over anything Immanuel Quickley related. just wild that this is okay.
You want to frame it like that? You want to make me the villain? I'm leaving. This is production, baby. This is producership, by the way. I'm leaving the board open to facilitate good choices for my friends. Was anyone you going to talk about going to help out the teacher strike at Simon Fraser University? I don't think so.
Well, my thing is like, how do I disagree with you? Do I say like he's not putting in enough work?
It's a good pick.
Yeah, you can't really say no.
Yeah.
There's another award Garrett could win, which is still on the board here.
Well, it's Tre's turn. I guess you can go for it when it comes to the US. But
I'm gonna say Scottie Barnes all defensive team.
Immanuel Quickley is like the kid with lice on the playground right now, man.
I'm trying to take best value here. I think there's a really good chance. One, I think the on and off numbers with Scottie on the court and off the court, I think is going to be pretty stark defensively. So that aids in making the team. And I think he's going to have the stocks that could push him onto the team. I would not be shocked to he averages 3 stocks a game, especially if he's playing lower in the defense and able to actually get the blocks necessary to do that. The Raptors aren't going to be. They'll think the Raptors are probably going to be like bottom 10 defense, give or take.
Yeah,
but I think on the floor, the starters should probably be around an average defense if both him and Jakob pan out well as rim protectors. So I think there's a chance.
This is another one that's like tied in.
Yeah.
You know, like if some of these things pop off, everything is popping off with it. But I think I'm pretty skeptical of that one just because of the team around him. Like OG had a prophetic, prodigious year defensively, and they didn't give it to him because the Raptors weren't high enough. But then also, like, the Raptors were number 2 behind the Lakers, and they didn't give anybody. Yeah, maybe it's just tough to get that award in Toronto, which historically is true. It's you, brother.
Yeah, it's starting to get slim here, but I gotta ride with my guy.
Yeah,
like
make the
we're
case.
here, we gotta do it. But I'm wondering which one I should go for first. Should I do the award or the selection? That's the thing. I'm gonna go with most improved for Immanuel Quickley. And I think the case is similar to RJ.
I think that one is more likely than RJ.
Yeah, the points gap will be larger.
I kind of agree. Well, is the points gap going to be larger? Do you think IQ scores like way more points than RJ does?
No, just like from where he is to where he's at, because I could see
comparatively.
Him,
okay,
him not winning.
The roles were quite different because even though RJ was much better in Toronto, he still scored the ball in New York. But and he still got touches and he still got shots up. But Immanuel, like, his usage spike is quite crazy from New York to Toronto. So there's not only for the scoring stuff, but the assists can balloon too. Because again, an assist farm.
And like if the shooting output increases, like if he's shooting instead of 6 threes or 7 threes, he's shooting 8 or 9 threes, then like the points per game increases more. And so like, the assist farm is part of it. I think in general, people like IQ, which again, if I'm going back to the narrative stuff, there is the conversation of like, hey, this is a guy who should be in consideration for most improved. He has the usage increase, which is like a hallmark of a guy who is in that conversation. Tyrese Maxey last year won it because he got the usage increase and the bump in the All-Star stuff. So like, could that season feasibly happen for Quickley? Yes, I think so. Am I willing to bet on it over most of the awards that we talked about, outside of probably the RJ most improved and All-Star stuff? I'm not sure. It's hard to get into the most improved conversation when your team isn't winning like that as well. So if the box score stats turn into wins, maybe he vaunts himself into that conversation.
Well, even in general, there's one guy who's up for awards on the Raptors this year, and everybody else is like really up against it. And that being said, I'm gonna be picking for second team all rookie.
Oh, he's got
Jonathan Mogbo.
Let's go. I thought I could get that on my last pick.
No, sir.
Okay.
It belongs to me. Here is the sell. Even when Jonathan Mogbo is bad, he collects statistics. The Raptors are quite thin in the front court. They are an injury away from just playing him, and he's ahead of Carlson. He's ahead of other guys, and he's the exact type of player who will get a bigger defensive reputation than he probably deserves. Now, all this being said, I know every single one of us really likes Mogbo, really likes his future as a pro. I think he has the potential not only to have a good rookie season, but to be overrated by the citizenry. I think that is a perfect mix when he has these games where he scores 8 points, has 8 rebounds, and collects 4 assists because he runs out in transition, he gets the ball, he hits Scottie. That kind of stuff, it's not likely, but I see the roadmap to it. I think it's a possibility. I'm tired of talking about barbecue. I can't do the big 3. I have to talk about Gary Temple and Jonathan Mogbo, man.
You're right about the stats part. Like he can fill up the box, especially from like a rebounding and assists.
He has a bad game, and everyone is like, he was horrible. But you look, and the stats are like, this guy was touching the ball and making stuff happen, which is important for these types of awards because second team all rookie, who the heck? Like, some people know, but who the hell really knows? Guys sneak on there all the time.
So last year's second team all rookie was Derek Lively, Amen Thompson, Keontae George, Cason Wallace, and Gigi Jackson.
Keontae George, the fakest stats ever. This guy, it's exactly it. Mogbo, if he just gets, especially if they hit the like tank button. This second team all rookie flies in the face of everything that RJ and IQ might hope to achieve this season. Because if Mogbo gets like a ton of minutes, he can put up stats. And that's exactly what happened to Keontae George.
I could see the NBA, like the NBA Central post in March where it's like last 10 games for Jonathan Mogbo.
Yep.
10 and 10, 10 and 10, 10 and 10.
Yeah. And like 2 blocks and a steal. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's room for it. I don't know if that's the best. Like, I don't know if I want to live in that timeline. I want to live in like the RJ most improved, RJ All-Star timeline, because again, there's no way RJ hops Scottie for an All-Star. He can't leapfrog him. So if RJ's an All-Star, so is Scottie. If that is the case, brother, we're in a great spot. We're having a great year. The purple's back.
Yeah.
Vibes are up. Trey, what do you got for us?
A bit less sexy, but I'm gonna go with Jacoby Walter, second team all rookie.
I like it.
That's maybe more sexy.
It wasn't as bold. It's just like the highest pick that we have making it. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. But I think that he has a path of making it as a bench player, just simply because of the bench lineups the Raptors are going to be putting out. They're going to have a lack of creation. He's someone that is going to probably get enough touches to warrant this award. He can score in bunches, and if the 3-point shooting like positively regresses to like what we saw, like what he was doing in high school, I think he could have like a late surge as a bench scorer and make the team.
I mean, Keontae George did it.
Yeah, it is the Keontae George.
But Gradey didn't, Gradey didn't get that call, which is, it's tough. Like
Gradey, they wanted to be good. He was in the G League half the year.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the second half, because like Gradey had the second half surge, that didn't.
But it was the second half though, is the thing. Like it didn't, because it definitely wasn't the first half. The first half was really bad. Yeah. I think this will be the last pick. Probably for everybody. Who is your last pick?
Damn, man, this is like we're starting to get into the weeds here. Like this is slim pickings. Okay, I'm gonna take a swing, and this is a really, really big swing because screw it, we're here. Let's pod. Why not? Davion Mitchell, 6th man of the year.
Oh.
Okay, my case is the shooting comes around in a massive way. He starts hitting like 37% of his shots, whatever.
Wait, can I tell you something?
Yes,
was he last year at 36% from 3? Was he 1% away from the 6th man of the year award, do you think?
No, but look, my case here is assist farm. Okay, so he's gonna rack up them assists. I think he's going to play like 25 plus minutes a night because this team is starving for that type of playmaking. He probably will close some games with their starters, which will give him that boost of like, oh, he's impacting winning. Davion Mitchell, 6th man of the year. It's the last pick, so I got to go bold. There you go.
That is an interesting one. But as you say,
does he get the bag? Does he? So like he wins 6th man of the year this year, contract year. He gets some sort of bag, right?
He gets a bag, yeah.
He gets a bag.
Although Malik Monk, maybe his agent negotiates him out of like $60 million extra dollars, like Malik Monk happened to. I can't believe that, man.
Insane.
He's really good. Davion Mitchell, 6th man of the year.
A true 6th man of the year award, like person who is deserving of it.
I'm thinking so powerfully about the little Weasel selection. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough.
Give me. I have it.
I was kind of bummed you can't like. There's no Gradey.
Yeah,
I think I can really convince myself.
Yeah. I like that you're like you couldn't possibly pick Gradey for anything. Davion Mitchell, 6th man of the year, by the way. That rocks. That really rocks. Jamal Shed, G League MVP.
Oh, you Weasel.
That doesn't count. That's Weaseling.
Oh, yes, brother.
Raptors
award. They are the Raptors 905. Jamal Shed, G League MVP. He's got exactly what it takes. He'll pick up any trash left on the floor.
Weasley.
Yeah, exactly. Red hair and a hand-me-down robe. You must be a Weasley. Anyway, Jamal Shed, G League MVP. I feel like such a jackass. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with that one because I was looking at the Social Justice Champion Award. Ooh! Jamal Shed Sportsmanship Award. Tyrese Maxey won it last year. Jamal Shed Sportsmanship Award. He's
gonna pick up garbage.
He's the sweetest man. Ooh, or actually, I'll switch it. Jamal Shed isn't. Ochai. Ochai is very well liked. He's very kind and he's extremely handsome. Handsome people get awards more often. Good-looking people. I think this is a thing. I don't have the stats to back this up, but this is just a feeling I have. This is my pick. Ochai Agbaji, Sportsmanship Award.
Okay.
Wow.
It's up to you, Trevon. Bring us the social justice champion.
Oh, I really want to say like Gradey Dick, like 6th man of the year, but I don't believe it. Sadly,
he's gonna start too much. Does like Gradey Dick 3-point contest champion? Is that
could work?
He's not gonna get invited.
That's an award. You won't pick that. Did you hear what was said tonight?
I'm gonna be the only man of honor here. I'm gonna say Jakob Poeltl, 2nd team all defense.
What? That? Oh man,
he's that caliber of defender.
He is that caliber of defender. But if there's one thing that will happen with this Raptors team is that if they are even half decent defensively, all the credit will go to Scottie Barnes.
Potentially, but there is going to be a thread by someone we know in the community that is going to be by one of us on and off, and it's going to be 20+ points.
What power do you think Twitter threads have, man? They do not have that power.
I've seen MVP swung off of this app.
Man,
no, you saw no. We have seen MVP swung that. Anyway, we've seen them swung by dialogue, yes, but not. What is the thing in basketball that you think narrative on Twitter had the biggest effect on?
Probably MVP.
I don't think it's MVP. Because, like, just think about Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, he's still won.
Yeah. Like, he's won Defensive Player of the Year 4 times. If Twitter did not exist, he would just retire, and people would look him up and be like, "Wow, this guy was incredible."
The greatest defender I've ever
but
known.
now, they're like, "No, he sucks actually," and you can just find endless tweets of people saying he sucks at basketball.
Like awards. Like perception of players is the biggest thing. Like
it doesn't have to be an award. The perception. I
would say like Kevin Durant, like the way like he's viewed, a player like that legendary being viewed in a negative light. Because even like with LeBron, that kind of came and went. He was just too good to hate for too long. But you still see like lingering effects of Kevin Durant, even as a son from being a Warrior.
It's weird with KD though, because he'll have like a 50-point performance, and you're just like, "Wow, special." And everybody does it on Twitter, right? It's like, "Wow, special." We forgot he's so nice, you know. And like
he's
for
nice
1 minute,
every day.
I know for like 1 minute, people just forget they hate him, and they're like,
some of it might be him too, because he engages with it, so people like know if they come at him, he'll respond. But
yeah.
That's so, like Kobe. The hagiography, like the being exalted, he was built on like Facebook forums, you know?
Yeah.
That stuff started there. Now, guys like Ant is like, you know, young kids saying that their favorite player pulls more women or has like the more aura on Twitter. Yeah. Who is the comparison? Like, who is being the most built up over Twitter? Who's the Twitter god?
Ant is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty good one. That's a good one. Let's see. Anybody else? Wemby? Is Wemby there?
Nice. Wemby might be better than Ant next year, but he doesn't have that juice.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have that juice.
Like, could you imagine what Ant's fan base or like many fan bases of top players would have done if Ant had played Scottie Barnes and like made him quit the game and leave the court.
Yeah.
The fan cams. Like he was clapping at Brunson. He got a singular stop. If he had made him quit the game, I mean, come on, man. I think that's the thing. Yeah. Ant. He's the guy.
Yeah. He's the darling of that show. Yeah. Everything he does is infectious.
Yeah.
Well, he's pretty charismatic, man. Like you get it when you're watching it. You're like, yeah, I get it. But can I also say, you didn't really say anything other than like someone's gonna write a Twitter thread and Jakob Poeltl's gonna be second team on defense.
That's more like that. What I listed was far more likely than Davion Mitchell winning.
No, I actually disagree. I will push back.
There is never going to be a discussion about Davion Mitchell in the Sixth Man. There's not going to be a thread. There is not going to be a conversation on any platform aside from this.
That's where you're wrong. This man will write that piece for Forbes.com by February. I bet my life on it, man.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's illegal for us to talk about this because we harbor so much influence over these awards, you know. We're only one Twitter thread away from seeing these things
changing.
Come to life. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That feels like a podcast, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Any fun predictions? They don't have to be awards for the season. I guess Tre and I will have one more episode before the season starts. But is there anything you want to say on?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Look, for the Raptors, I'm kind of excited for the season. I know people are
nice.
Yeah, that's not a take.
Raptors right here, excited for the season. Awesome.
No, I mean, dude, people are so down and out on this team. I feel like I'm the only one here being like, hey, this is kind of going to be fun.
You made a video about Jamal Shed, 45th overall pick or 46 or whatever, and 6,000 people watched it in like a 24-hour span. You're like, people just aren't feeling it. They're not excited. I think people are excited. It's basketball, you know. It's the start of the season.
I hope so.
My fingers are crossed. How about you, Tre? You got any predictions?
I was trying to fit this in, but it wasn't an award. I think I wouldn't be shocked if Immanuel Quickley is like top 5 in 3-pointers made this season. I think
need that.
I think there's a really good likelihood he's putting up 8 or more threes. If he can hold those percentages and he's going to play a lot of minutes, that's like a really strong likelihood of that happening. So, and I think his leap is dependent on whether that pull-up 3 really pops off. And you've written a million pieces about him, I believe in you, so I believe in him.
Wow, thank you so much. Hey, actually, I do have a hot take.
Go ahead.
I have a hot take, and maybe this is scorching. Okay, in 3 years' time, what is the likelihood that Gradey Dick is the second best player on the Toronto Raptors?
This is your hot take, is asking this question?
You are asking a question. You are giving.
I'd like to hear. Wait, what? Say it. Do you think he will be?
I think there's a chance. I don't know what the chance is.
Make the take.
Like, it can Grady. No, I don't have a take. It's a question.
My God.
It's a question. But answer me. What? Okay. What is the
wait.
Okay.
I'll give it to you.
Reframe it. Yes.
Hey guys, I have a hot take actually. I think Gradey Dick will be the second best player on the Raptors within the next 3 seasons.
There you go.
Would you like me to tell you why?
That was very Matthew McConaughey-esque, by the way. You did the draw. It worked. It had the voiceover talent right here. I don't know, man. I think there's a shot. I think there's like a more than big shot.
More than big. Let's put a yes or no on that. More than big.
Yes. I think I'm going to go with yes.
Say it all together in one thing, please.
Clip it up. I think Gradey.
This guy said Jonathan Mogbo is going to be an all-star, but he's like, ooh, I don't know if I can say Gradey Dick. I don't know if the lottery pick is going to succeed.
You know who else was drafted 13th overall?
D-Book.
Devin Booker.
You're that's ruminating in there.
I'm doing this for our one friend. I talk about Wiseman, Nemhard, and Gradey on his behest, even though he tried to steal the valor of the pick away from Tre and Josh. Okay, well, that's we talked a lot about Gradey. Obviously, we're all high on Gradey. We explained why we love his game so much earlier, but yeah, I think he could be the second best player on this team by year 5 for him, or year 4, however you're delineating it. Doesn't really matter. Yeah. To the point about Immanuel, he was 37th in the NBA in 3-pointers made last year. It was a little bit higher, obviously, as a Raptor. And to get into the top 5, you got to be at like 3.5 3-pointers made per game. And then obviously you want to have that health by your side. And I mean, 3.5 is probably in play. He made, how many did he make? 2.8 as a Raptor last year. And 2.8 over the course of the full season would have put him at 24th with Tyrese Haliburton. And if you had said Immanuel Quickley and Tyrese Haliburton have roughly the same amount of volume, I think people would be like, yep, Tyrese is one of the best shooters. Immanuel's one of the best shooters. But dagum, there's a lot of guys who shoot the hell out of the basketball, man.
Yeah.
Like, you think you've thought of guys, and then all of a sudden Bogdanovic is there. And you're like, oh, yeah. And Paul George is still there. And Malik Beasley is there.
Yeah.
CJ McCollum is there. Tyrese Maxey is there. Duncan Robinson is there. Luke Kennard is there. Jalen Brunson is there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shooters, man.
People shoot. People
do shoot.
Boom, 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 boom. Wow.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. S, is there anything you'd like to say to the audience before we get out of here?
No. Have a good day.
Yes. Yeah. And Trevon, he's not breaking into this industry. He is being dragged into it year over year by me kicking and screaming as I take away more of his free time. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, Tre?
I'm just looking forward to the season. I think the Raptors are going to be.
Well, that's a hot take, I hear.
I
am
just a fan. It's not the same. It's not the same at all.
I can't be excited to do work.
This is your job. I would hope so.
That's great.
But excited for the season. I think it's going to be monumental for the rebuild, and I think there's going to be great moments that spark this rebuild 2-3 years down the line that show you the growth that this team is going to have.
Hell yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment, all that stuff that helps the algorithm, which I think everybody fights against in some way. Let us rage against the dying light together. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. From myself, from S, from Tre. Whether you got into this in the morning or at night, have a blessed day, and goodbye.